Hi, peeps, and welcome new viewers to Pass the Mic with PST, where all things are reviewed. It's your girl Shell with the first video for our new series entitled Cooking with Chef Mike. Now, today's review is on how Chef Mike makes steamed pork chops and onions. Now, before we get started with the video, just a little reminder for you. After leaving your thoughts on the dish in the comment area, why don't you go ahead, please, and give the video a thumbs up and share it with others. And if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified when the next video is uploaded. Now, today, like I said, Mike will be cooking pan-steamed pork chops with onions. Man, my mouth is just watering thinking about it. Anyway, the best sides that you can use for this dish, it can be carrots or mushed sweet potatoes, fresh salad along with some rice, or you can use roasted garlic potatoes. Anyway, tonight's dinner was a last minute thing, so Mike chose something that we already had in our pantry: corn. And what I like best is cream style, so that's for me. And he'll be doing peas for himself. And of course, we're going to have rice with it. But the main thing is the pork chops with onions, right? Okay. So you want to start with prepping your onions, making sure to slice those onions in thin rings. And because he's cooking 8 center cut pork chops, he'll be slicing up 4 medium-sized onion bulbs. And afterwards, he'll place them in an airtight container. And then you want to just go ahead and place them in the fridge. Oh, I forgot to mention, you're putting them in the fridge because you want to do your prep the evening before you plan to cook. And also, you can also slice up some bell peppers and use them as well to give your dish some additional colors on a plate, right? All right, so next you want to prep your pork chops. Something that a lot of people, I don't know if it's a lot of people, but something that people believe is that pork chops need to be cleaned before you eat them or cook them rather. But actually that's not true. It's not necessarily true because the bacteria that you may have on your pork chop, it will be killed off by the heat from the cooking process. But if you feel comfortable, it's okay to go ahead and rinse the chops. Not that you need me to tell you it's okay, but it's okay to rinse your chops with some cold water and just make sure that you pat them down to dry them. Pat the chops dry before you start putting your seasoning on and so forth to your desired taste. All right, so after you prep your chops, you want to go ahead, clean your chops. You want to go ahead and remove excessive fat. Of course, you don't want to move all of them because we know that that's where the tastiness lives, right? I live for sucking on a pork chop bone. That just gives me life, man. Pork chops, another secret of mine, is one of my favorite foods. Pork chop with macaroni and some spinach. And then for dessert, have some banana pudding. Anyway, back to the to the recipe. Now, the seasoning that Chef Mike will be using today is all basic. He'll just be using salt, black pepper, and Lowry seasoning, as well as some garlic powder. Now, if you want to, you can use fresh crushed garlic instead, because like I said, this was a last minute thing for us. So Mike is just trying to take advantage of every shortcut that he can possibly take. So the time it would take to peel the garlic and crush them up and all that. So he just decided to use the garlic powder. All right, so first he's going to salt the bone with a light layer of salt, that is. And you only want to do that on one side, of course, because none of us want to have high blood pressure, right? So we want to do a light layer of salt on the bone on one side. And the rest of the seasoning you use could be applied to the whole chop, bone included, right? So, but on this side, along with that salt on the bone, you want to apply a light layer of black pepper, followed by the garlic powder. And again, instead of using the powder, you can wait well, you can actually prep your fresh garlic, peel it, and do the crushing and so forth, and put it in a container and wait until the cooking process for the onion and do those at the same time. And next, because chops are considered a tough meat and can be a bit difficult to cook evenly, you want to make sure you tenderize your chops. We're using a spike tenderizer because that also helps in aiding not only tenderizing it, but it helps in aiding in flavoring, getting that flavoring through your pork chop. Oh, it'd be so tasty, y'all. Sometimes frying pork chops also causes the center to pucker up. It causes a curling, is what it really is called, curling. But I like to say pucker because what happens is in the center it puckers up, right? But the reason why that happens is because of the fat. Once it starts heating up, it kind of like pulls on the pork chop and it causes it to become taut, and so it poof, you get that pucker. So to prevent that from happening, because if that happens, your pork chop will cook unevenly. So you want to prevent that. So you can do one of two things. Chef Mike here is going to be using kitchen shears, and he's just going to make one cut in the meat, anywhere on that meat opposite the bone. But another way, which is what you're probably used to seeing maybe in on cooking channels or something, is the scoring of the fat. And what they're doing is you have that fat on the outer side of the pork chop opposite the bone. It goes from the top all the way to the bottom. And what you do is you start by, at the top, start putting cuts in that fat. And you do that all the way down the bone, leaving a half inch about a half inch in between each cut. Either way, both techniques serves the same purpose, and that's, like I said, to keep it from pulling taut due to the fat around the pork getting hot, and it keeps it from puckering. So after you do that, you want to flip those bad boys over, and on that other side, you want to season it with pepper, Lowry seasoning, and you can put some more garlic powder or onion powder here, but he just chose not to because it would be wind up being too much. I think the Lowry's, since you put Lowry's on it, it should be okay. You don't need all of that, and you don't, because I've had this before from him when he cooked it, and it, trust me, is perfect. So once you're done with your prepping, just go ahead and place your seasoned chops. Place them all in a tight sealed glass container, and then place them in the fridge until you're ready for them the next day. So anyway, the cooking process. You want to use large deep pan skillets and use your choice of oil in it and put it over medium heat. And once the oil is heated up, you can then begin placing your chops in a skillet. And you do want those pork chops to cook for about 7 to 10 minutes, making sure to flip them periodically until you reach that desired brown shade of brown that you want on it. And Chef Mike is using 2 skillets here because, again, we're frying up 8 of those pork chops. Now, now that he's gotten it to the point where he wants, it's been 10 minutes now, he's going to take them out, put them in a plate, and just put those to the side. Now, you don't want to do anything, and you don't want to dump this out. Now, you're going to use these drippings for your onions. So just take your onions and transfer them from your container to the drippings from your pork chops in that skillet. And you want to cook those until you get the desired color of translucency you want, that you're looking for. Just make sure you stir them often so that they fry evenly. And he actually fried his for about 10 minutes. So it's been 10 minutes. And now he's going to drain a little bit from the drippings and put it back on the fire. And what you're going to do is put your first layer, well, you can take some of it out. Chef Mike takes some of the fried onions out and put it on a plate to the side, right? And then he start placing his pork chops in the skillet. And once you have all the pork chops in, you can go ahead and take that plate of onions that you removed earlier and just go ahead and put that back all over the pork chops. Okay, just that's just to make sure you get that oniony feeling on everything, since all of it can't fit at the bottom of the pan. Next, you want to pour a little water in the skillet. I asked him about how much. He just said about 3 splashes. I mean, cooks, that's what they do. They don't measure anything, but he said about three splashes of water in there, and that's just for that steam process. Then you want to cover it up with a glass lid. Just make sure that lid has a steam vent hole, and you want to let it steam for about 30 to 45 minutes. And now it's time to plate. Bon appetit, y'all. Now, of course, I wasn't going to let you guys see me eat it. I'm a shy person by nature, thus me not showing my face really. If I can find a way to do it, I will do it, but I'm a shy person. So I did eat it, and of course, it was delicious. Man, I just hope you guys will follow the recipe and try it out for yourselves, because it is the bomb. And just let us know how it was in the comment section when you come back, or even before. Just leave a comment letting us know what you think about our technique, and just tell us about what you do to cook yours. But anyway, that's all for now. And until our next video, we hope you stay safe and stay happy. Shell signing out.